All right, welcome to our podcast at Home on the Lakeshore, where we talk about home loans with our local home loan experts here at UnitedOne Credit Union. This is episode number 7, and we want to thank you for joining us today. So let's welcome back in our home loan experts, Linda, Carrie, and Julie. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see all your bright, smiling faces. We love this time of year that spring is kind of in the air, and we can almost feel it up here in Wisconsin that spring is just right around the corner.
I hope so.
Yeah. There's been some 60-degree days where, we want that spring here already.
I'm afraid we're going to get hit with snow one more time.
Don't say the S word.
I know.
Yeah, don't do that, Julie. Now, come on. I know you generally get the joke of the day, but don't be cruel like that now.
I get it.
I haven't cycled out the snowblower for the lawnmower just yet, but I'm kind of looking forward to doing that. We always cycle around the shed or the garage where you start to move the winter stuff to the back and bring the spring and summer stuff to the front. And so I haven't done that yet, but I always look forward to that day because it means I'm hopefully done spreading salt, shoveling, snow blowing, and things like that. So
I was really brave. Yeah. I was just going to say, I pulled out my lawn furniture already, like my outdoor stuff. So I really cursed myself.
Nice. Yeah. My husband, I got home last night or yesterday after work, and there's, it's still bright out and everything now. He was pulling out a little bit of weeds and grass that was going around our flower bed. He's like, "Well, I'm already over here." And I'm like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Put your stuff inside and come out." And I'm like, "No, it's okay."
We have some friends that took out their pontoon boat already. Thought that was just a little early, but good for them.
Yeah, pontoon boat in Wisconsin in March. That might be a record. Usually there's still some ice in some places, but not this year.
They commented that it was 2 months earlier than last year. I'm like, eek. We'll see. Hopefully it doesn't freeze on them.
Yeah, hopefully they don't run into a berg. Oh, well, all righty. You know what? Let's get started today with everyone's favorite part of the show. So, Julie, we've already been cracking a few jokes, but, go ahead and take it away with your joke of the show.
All right, here we go. Hopefully it comes out okay and it sounds okay.
We'll tell Andrew to get ready with the blooper or with the beep. If we have to have the buzzer or the beeper ready, we can use it if we need to.
You might need to beep. What did the blanket say as it fell off the bed?
I think I know this one, but I want you to say it.
Oh, sheet.
Oh,
it came out okay. Woo. Yeah, I don't know that they're getting better every time we do a podcast.
And there you have it, folks. And 50% of our audience just tuned out right there.
I was going to say, I'll sleep on that tonight.
Yes, even Andrew, our producer, gives you some kudos, a slow clap on that one. So nicely played.
Yep. Keep listening, people. It gets better. Really, it gets better.
It does. And now that we've had that exciting introduction, lots of energy. I mean, listeners, if you can't tell, we are getting that cabin fever. We know spring is close, and we're starting to catch that energy, so we can all get outside and enjoy and do what we want to do, even if that's floating a pontoon around a frozen lake. But anyways, we digress a little bit. But let's bring us back to today's topic, which is understanding your credit and its impact. Okay. All right, yes, we're talking about credit, and that might not sound like the coolest or sexiest topic, but it really is important when it comes to buying a house or refinancing or those kind of things, right, team?
Yes,
Correct.
it certainly does.
So when we're taking a look at things like credit and understanding its impact, we know that the word credit can be a bit of a trigger term out there for folks. They hear it, credit reports, credit scores, credit freezes, credit monitoring. And for some people, the word credit is probably a negative thing. But we know working in our industry that credit can also be a good thing. Why? Because it matters. It's important for how you can achieve your financial dreams, including the financial dream of owning your own home. So we know that it's important to understand your credit and how to protect your credit, build your credit, grow your credit, and then use credit in a positive way as a tool to get your first home or to refinance a home or to expand and grow your family home and things like that. So where do you guys want to start? Do we want to start by talking about what's in a credit report, or where do you want to take it from here?
I was thinking we should probably talk about the 5 C's of credit. I don't know if people understand what the 5 C's of credit are, which is kind of an overall picture of the loan versus just the credit report. So just to go through that, the 5 C's of credit, one is character, your willingness to pay. So yes, we look at the credit report and your history, but part of credit is building your character. Another one is capacity. Can the borrower pay? Can you pay the loan back? One is capital. What is your financial strength? And then we got credit. Again, that goes back to the history, and we'll get into credit in a little bit, as we discuss credit reports. And then the last one is collateral. Do you have something for collateral? And this kind of covers everything from taking out your very first loan to maybe a car loan to now buying your house. We look at all those C's to make a file, to get a summary of who you are.
And as far as what is your credit report, we're going to collect some information from you so that we can take a look at your credit history to see what you have out there. How long have you had it out there? How have you been paying on the loans that you have? It also shows us information as far as, do you pay extra on your loans or do you just make the base payments? There's so much information we can get out of there besides just your credit score.
I know that a lot of people feel that, taking out a loan, as Carrie was saying, that credit history we look at, people are, oh, I don't have the cash, I'm not gonna, apply for credit. If I don't have the money, I don't want to buy it. But when we look at purchasing a home, things in that nature, or auto loans, anything like that, we're looking at your credit history. So we're going to pull your credit report to see, have you paid other people on time? That's how we build your credit profile. We want to know, can we extend money to you and will you pay us back?
I think
If you
that's a
don't
good
have
point.
anything.
Yeah, that's a good point, Linda, because oftentimes you might be able to save up 15 or 20 or $30,000 or maybe even more to buy a vehicle cash outright. But when it comes to a home, with home prices continuing to rise and people now, you're talking a 200, 300, 400,000 or more dollars, it's hard to just save that up in cash alone to pay for those things. So establishing credit, having a bit of credit history will make it easier for us to help you try to get into your first home or try to get into a home. So yeah, that makes sense. So trying to
Yeah.
build and use credit as a tool to gain that financial capacity to get into a home.
Yep. And if you don't know what your credit looks like, that's what we're here for. We want to help you. We want to know, what are you paying on your loans? What are you paying on your credit? And if you don't have anything, we can help you. You come in to see us, and we're going to be asking you all the information Carrie was mentioning, your name, your social, birthdays, things like that, to be able to pull your credit and see what do you have now? How can we help you establish your credit? How can we help you better your credit? We study these things. We go to webinars. We go to, we have online training. We have things that we look at every, sometimes monthly, sometimes quarterly, sometimes yearly, but we study all these things so we can better give you the correct information. We try to be the experts in that nature.
And we want to let you know too that when we take your application and we pull credit, we pull from the three nationwide credit bureaus, which are TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. So we pull from all three of those, and sometimes you'll see that your score may be different with each of those companies, and where it comes from is that who and how your credit gets reported to those companies. As a lender or as the credit union, we can choose who we want to report to. UnitedOne reports to all three, so you're gaining credit in all three of those companies. There are financials out there that don't report to all three. They may only choose one or two and report those two. So sometimes you'll see those credit scores vary, but it may just depend on who's reporting and what companies they're reporting to. And when we pull all three, we use the middle score. So we kind of average out those three scores and use the middle one for qualifying.
Some of those scores, as Julie is stating, we use the middle. Some people are always asking, like, what do these scores mean? Like, what if I have, 800 credit score, or what if I have a 580 credit score? So generally speaking, like credit scores, each agency has like a scale, and depending on what you have in your credit is how that is built. I'm just going to kind of rattle some numbers out here, but some of those are, they could be as low as 300 and up to 850. We generally like to see your credit score in that good range, so 670 to 739, but that doesn't mean that we cannot lend to someone who has a 620, 640 credit score. It all depends on what your credit profile looks like. Best score out there is exceptional, between 800 and 850. We see some of those, but they've probably had their credit for a longer period of time and they've established themselves. So if you're just establishing your first credit history, like your first car, your first credit card, you might have a lower score, but hey, we're here and we're going to help you out to raise your scores.
Yes, and your score usually gets you a better rate in loans. I mean, not only home loans, but car loans, in your car insurance. There's so many things that working on your credit to build a good credit score can help you with.
Maybe you're not ready to come and see us yet, or maybe you're wondering like, oh, did that late payment 5 years ago really affect my credit? Or maybe there's something out there that you're just not necessarily proud of, or maybe a little embarrassed about. You can get your credit report online. As a consumer, you are allowed a free credit report. And so when you go out and get that information, you're going to want to make sure that you are asking for TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian, because again, each one could have different data. But where you'd want to go get that information is at annualcreditreport.com. Just make sure it's annualcreditreport.com. When you type it in, you're going to get several different pop-ups. Everybody wants you to, click on their website. but make sure it's the annualcreditreport.com. That's the free one. But if you do want your credit scores, I believe the last time I heard it costs about $5 to get your credit score. And maybe if web isn't the way for you to search it out and you want to call, it is touch tone, so you won't talk to anybody. But the number is 1-877-322-8228. So definitely look into maybe getting your credit report, seeing what's out there before you even come to talk to us. That's okay.
And don't worry that you feel, oh, how am I going to read that? I don't know how to read a credit report. So the annual credit report area, they actually have it more consumer based. So they're going, it lists all of the information in a way that you're going to be able to understand it. You don't have to work in the field, you don't have to work in banking or anything like that to be able to understand what that credit report is showing you. But if you still feel like, oh, I still want that extra person to help me out, we definitely are here. You could call us and say, can we set up an appointment? Come in with that. You could either print it out, or if you have it saved on, your smartphone, something like that, we can kind of look it over with you and look at that information with you.
Agree. We are here to help talk it out and help you understand it. Mm-hmm.
That's the advantage of having the experts, right? Is to come in and say, hey, I've been able to pull this. I'm taking a look at it. And I know that you guys have also shared in the past tips that you might not need to pay to get the score if you are able to view the report. Because by looking at the report and understanding that, hey, all that looks accurate and you've been paying your debts on time, and you're not taking on too much debt, what is shown in your report will give you a pretty good indication of where your score would be. So even before you decide to maybe take that extra step to pay for a score, it could sometimes be helpful just to view the free report and see, yep, things look good on here. Or in some cases, it's not unusual or unheard of for somebody to see something on the report that they're like, wait, that shouldn't be on there anymore. Or, hey, I paid that off. And then to follow up with that creditor or with that financial or whoever you had that loan from to say, hey, I know that we got this cleared up. Why is that still showing on my report, to try to get some of that stuff cleared up? You'd be surprised how sometimes those things can pop up. And those, I know, are things that our experts look for as well. I'm sure you guys have run into that before, experiences with members that are like, well, wait, I paid that off. And then us helping to help them get that taken care of, or where they can reach out to get that resolved.
Yep,
That's so
definitely.
True. Yes.
One other thing I wanted to mention, I know we're talking about credit and going to the annualcreditreport.com. We do have a lot of members that we, work with that ask us like, why is my credit score different than what you're pulling? There is a lot of other places out there like Credit Karma, your credit card company. There's other services out there that, yeah, you can have to be able to kind of give you a snapshot of what your credit score looks like. But generally, those companies are using what's called a Vantage score. And for mortgage, we use the FICO 9 score. And, of course, we can go a little bit deeper into this in a further podcast, but, that is something that we are looking at. Your credit report is going to be different than what Credit Karma says, than what the credit company that you have that's giving you that free credit score. Keep in mind, it's not going to be exactly what we actually use.
Yep. Those are tools for you, just a guide for you versus the lending options.
And I think that's nice that we have those tools. The government provides those so that people can have a better understanding of their credit, not like it was back in the day where folks had no idea. It was just some magical number that lenders seemed to pull out of thin air. And now they have a way to view it themselves and a way to track your credit because you own it, right? You listeners at home, it is your credit. It is basically a track of your financial history and things that you've done. So it is incumbent upon you, important that you utilize these tools to track your own credit and to make sure that you're building and understanding how that works, because it could be the difference between thousands of dollars, especially when we're talking about mortgages and home loans. But even on the consumer side, purchasing vehicles or personal loans or home equity loans and things like that, it could be the difference between hundreds to even thousands of dollars over the life of those loans, and whether you're getting in at the best rate possible or if you're still being approved but now having to pay a rate that's 2 or 3% higher, which could be a huge difference when you're talking about tens to hundreds of thousands of dollars for that loan. So guys, we're pretty close to our max on time here, but this is some good stuff. Like I said, it's not the most exciting topic, but it's important. If you're in the process of getting a home or refinancing, or you want to use this equity in the market that we have and your home value has gone up, and you're thinking, hey, here's a way for us to tap into that to help you pay for other things, and we're here to help you with that, and your credit is an important aspect of that process. So we want to give you the tools. I think we'll probably put a pin in this one and pick this up at our next episode and maybe dive deeper into FICO scores and how those work and how our experts look at those scores when determining our process of getting you financed or approved for a mortgage loan. Does that sound fair, everyone?
Oh, yes,
I think
definitely.
it does.
Good.
There's so much more to talk about credit.
Yeah, we could probably spend several episodes talking about credit and those kind of things, but we tried to make it so that it's bite-sized pieces for all of you. So some takeaways here is to go out and check out that website that Julie shared. Julie, would you mind sharing that one more time with our listeners?
You bet. It is annualcreditreport.com.
Excellent. So go out there, check that out. It doesn't hurt to get those. And I know you can pull that from each of the bureaus utilizing that site. And I know that one of the tips that our experts would give would be to stagger that. So you can go get a TransUnion and then a few months later go get the Experian and then come back and get the Equifax as well. So you don't have to do all three of them at once. That's up to you. You can pull which ones that you like or to request those then. So, but if you're in the process of looking at if 2024 is the year of a home for you or a home equity, now would be a good time to go check those out, and our experts are here to help you with any questions that you may have. So you're not alone. Any last comments from our experts before we wrap up today's show?
I would say if you have any questions, give us a call. We're always willing to talk, even if you're not quite ready to do the full application. We're here to help.
Yes, stay tuned for more information on credit.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you all for sharing your expertise with us. And thank you to our listeners that have joined us today. If you, our listeners, have any questions about home loans, home equity, or even, yes, credit, feel free to reach out to us. You can contact us by email at homeloans@unitedone.org, or of course you can always pick up the phone or come by one of our branch offices and ask any of those questions, or if you even want to, you can fill out an online app and we can start the process that way as well. So if you do have any questions that you would like for us to highlight in a future podcast, please drop us a line or send us an email. We'd love to help answer your questions in a future podcast. If you like what we're doing, we encourage you to give us a like and rate us wherever you get your podcasts. And also feel free to share that podcast with others. So you're also welcome to follow us on social media. We have a Facebook account at Facebook/UnitedOneCU. And we're also on Instagram with @UnitedOneCU. So our next episode will be coming out next month, and we're excited to take up part 2 of talking more about credit scores. Thank you for joining us today.
Okay, see you then.
Thank
Talk to you
you.
later.
Bye.
Bye.